Okay, we are now at video number 3, and I have some more factoring trinomial examples. These next few examples, though, have to still do with factoring trinomials. However, these examples, all of them, we can factor out a greatest common factor, or a GCF, first. And whenever you're factoring at all, that's something that you should always remember to try first. You should always try to factor out a greatest common factor first, if you can. So for example, this next one, if I have 2x squared minus 16x minus 96, you should notice that both 2x squared, negative 16x, and negative 96 have a common factor of 2. So I can factor that out. And when I do so, what I have left is I have x squared minus 8x, and then what? Minus 48. Well, this one actually gets a lot easier once I factor the 2 out, because this is one of those trinomials with no number in front of the x squared. So this is going to factor, still bring that 2 out front down. This we can now factor much easier into two binomials. This should be x times x for the first two terms. Now the last two terms should multiply to give me negative 48 and add to give me negative 8. Well, if I think about the products of 48, I have 3 times 16, I have 4 times 12, and I have 6 times 8. And we know that because this is a negative, one of them has to be negative. So that means it's going to be a positive or negative on the 3 or the 16 or the 4 and the 12 or the 6 and the 8. Well, I want to look then for which one of these factors of 48 gives me a difference of negative 8. And hopefully the answer is pretty obvious to you. It's got to be 4 and 12. And if I want negative, the negative better go on the 12. So this has got to be x plus 4 and x minus 12. Because when I perform our check that we've been doing this whole time, the two inners give me 4x, and the two outers give me negative 12x. When I add 4x and negative 12x, I get negative 8x. So this is my final answer right here. It's 2 times x plus 4 times x minus 12. Alright, I would like to take a look at just one more example of these, and that is this example. Example G. X cubed minus 3x squared minus 18x. Now, first looking at this, we've never done anything with x cubed, so we think we might be in trouble. However, all three terms have an x in common, so what we can do is factor out an x. When we do that, what we're left with is x squared minus 3x minus 18. Bring the x down, and let's now factor into a product of two binomials. We got to have x and x, and then 18 is either 2 times 9 or 3 times 6. But 6 and 3 have a difference of 3, so this has got to be x plus 3 and x minus 6. Because our two inner terms multiply to give me 3x, and our two outer terms multiply to give me negative 6x. If you add those two together, we get our middle term of negative 3x. So that concludes factoring examples of trying to factor out a GCF first, and that concludes the third video.